She is. This might be a game changer.
If you've been on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, etc. lately, you'll probably have seen this very viral combination of a walking pad and standing desk together, and the work from home girlies are doing the damn thing. But in case you haven't heard of it, a lot of people are buying standing desks and then walking pad treadmills and using them in combination so they can work and move at the same time. I've seen tons of YouTube videos. My friends have done YouTube videos on this topic. My mom has this combo. I feel like it's kind of just gaining a lot of popularity lately, and I've been curious about it for a really long time because it seems like the perfect way to kind of get a bunch of things done at once, and I'm always into that. So there are a lot of claims that come along with this. The first one being that a lot of people noticed, or according to their videos, that increased productivity was happening, so they felt a lot more productive because they were sort of in a flow state. I don't really need a ton of help in this area as far as productivity goes, but I am a Capricorn, so it's always welcomed. Do you know what I mean? One of the biggest things for me is I have ADHD, and I've seen a lot of people talk about how they also have ADHD, and it's really helped improve their focus. They're able to stay focused for longer when they're doing their work, and as someone who spends hours and hours and hours in front of a computer editing myself, I can really tend to lose focus, and I open a bajillion different tabs on my browser, and I'm Googling different things, and I'm getting distracted. And so if I could find a way to stay more focused, that would honestly be a huge game changer for me for sure. Another benefit that I've seen is getting more movement in your day, whether that's you have a steps goal or you're trying to burn more calories or whatever your reason may be. For me, it's kind of just to generally increase my movement overall, so it's kind of a win-win, And finally, it seems like a great option for multitasking for busy people, people who are working from home or sitting at a desk all day long. You can really get two things done at once, as I mentioned, which I feel is the ideal situation. And sometimes my morning walks that I'll go on, if I'm feeling I want to do a walk for the day, it's I have to get ready, I have to get out of the house, I have to go walk for an hour, I have to come home, I have to shower. But if I could do work during the time that I'm also walking, it's I free up so much more time, So as far as the actual combo that I used, I just kind of went based off of what I saw other people recommending on Instagram, what I saw was very well reviewed on Amazon. So here are the items that I chose: the standing desk and the walking pad. This is what I ended up going with. The standing desk was $159.99, and the walking pad was, I think, originally $289, but I got it on sale for $199, but I always see it on sale. It's fluctuating in price, so I think currently it's $186.99. So we're gonna go through this journey together. We're gonna go from the very beginning. I'm gonna set it up with you. We're gonna test it out together. I obviously wanted to see what this was all about, if it's worth the hype, if I think the virality of it all is deserved. So let's rewind it back to a couple months ago, set this thing up, and give it a go. Let's do it. Good morning, today is the day. I've been waiting for this day for so long. I'm gonna set up my walking pad and finally start using it. I really don't know what I'm doing at all, but we're just gonna go through this process together. So I have these two huge boxes in my living room that I need to undo. This is the current setup that I have with my chair, which I will be keeping, but I'll just be, alternating the walking pad and the chair. And then this was a desk that I actually stole from Drew, so it's just gonna go back into his office, so now he can have two desks, one for his art and then one for work. And so yeah, we're just gonna see what happens. We're gonna test this out. So let's get this desk and computer out of here for the moment and then bring in the big old boxes. Definitely open this upside down. Whoops. I'm not sure about current generations, but as a millennial, all of my years of building piece after piece after piece of IKEA furniture has truly prepared me for this moment. And just like that, the desk is built. Can you believe that? That actually was a lot easier than I thought. It's up to pretty much its full height now, so you can raise it or lower it to whatever you want. And then there are also really cool presets, so you can pick and choose what height you want things at for like standing, sitting, and then you can just have the preset button ready to go. So that is amazing. Here is what it looks like. So it's just very user-friendly, very, very nice. And now I think we're just gonna do the walking pad, which I'm pretty sure you just take out of the box, but we'll see. The cords are very ugly, and the way that my outlets are set up in here isn't ideal, but you know what? It's fine. No one's gonna see that. Slightly concerning, but this box is ripped and quite damaged. And it does have a return label on it from someone else, so... It does not look damaged at all whatsoever. It did just currently fall on my foot. That's fine. But it honestly looks perfect. It's a little more narrow than I thought it was gonna be. So I'm just really hoping that like I don't fall. But we're just gonna plug it in. Oh my God, it's gonna be so satisfying. And see what it's like. Yes. So I'm gonna play around with it a little bit. I'm gonna plug it in and then we're gonna test it out for the first time together, which is what I've been waiting this whole time for. So let's do it. Boy. It has wheels? How did I not know that? Duh, of course it does. Okay, we're gonna press play, I think. 3, 2, 1. God. So I think it's gonna take some getting used to trying to do work and walking at the same time, like editing and things like that. That's what I'm gonna be doing today. So we will play around with this over the next little bit and just sort of see how it progresses, see what speed I like. Right now I think I'm at 1.5. I feel like this is a good like leisurely pace. I don't wanna go too fast because I don't wanna break a sweat, number one, because I just got my eyebrows microbladed and I can't sweat yet. But also just because I want to walk for like a longer period of time. I'm not necessarily looking for like a workout. I just want to get some steps in while I'm working. So let's get to work. All right, so it's been like close to an hour, I want to say. Yeah, like 50 minutes. And so far, going great. Not even really breaking a sweat. If I wanted to walk really, really fast, I'm sure I could like, you know, get a decent workout in. But I'm feeling good. Like, it's surprisingly really easy. I thought for a second it was gonna like take me a while to get the hang of it. And when I hop off, it's a little weird, I guess. But I'm currently editing a main channel video at the moment. And surprisingly, it's going really well. There are a couple little things where I was like, oh, I'll wait until I'm sitting down to do that. And I was like, why? Like, why would that matter? So I'm really just getting into the swing of things and figuring it out. But I mean, this might be a game changer. We will see. It's only day one. So far, so good. One thing that I have noticed this time around that's a little bit different is that I thought it was my earrings banging against my headphones at first, but I think it's actually like static happening in the headphones every time I take a step, which is like a little concerning because I don't want to like electrocute the inside of my brain. So I don't know.
I just finished walking for about an hour, like a little over an hour. It was really nice. I'm glad I did it. I don't know if I'm gonna like have enough motivation to make this a habit. I've heard a lot of people talking about how this helps so much with ADHD focus and just like ADHD in general. I do feel like I zone out when I'm editing specifically, so that's nice because I'm getting some movement in while I'm working, which is great. I struggle with time management sometimes, so I feel like it's helpful to be able to do multiple things at once because you're checking things off your list, like getting in a little bit of movement for the day and then also getting your work done at the same time. So I really enjoy that. I just haven't like fallen in love with it yet. Does that make sense? Like the first time I did it, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing, I'm gonna do it every day. And now that I'm like, what, 4 or 5 times into doing it, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. I also have done it a couple times without filming it, and it's like I'll do it for maybe a day or a 2-day stretch or something like that, and then I won't do it again for like a week or two. So those are just like honest, real thoughts that I'm sure a lot of people are looking for when they're looking into doing something like this. If you are not great at sticking with things, I don't know if this will stick for you, but maybe it will, who knows? So I will keep trying. I'm gonna, you know, give it a few more tries and we'll see, but it's like definitely a very affordable way to get some steps in around the house. And since it's gonna start getting warm here in LA pretty soon, I do see myself using it a lot more on the days where I want to just walk and not do like a full-blown cardio workout, strength workout, whatever. So we'll see what ends up happening. But like I'm teetering on the edge of recommending it, but I'm also kind of just above the middle of like being neutral about it. But we'll see. It is another day. It is the final day that I'm going to be showing myself walking on this walking pad, and it has been, as you would suspect, a little bit more time. Life has just been lifing, you know, but I'm trying a different method today. I actually ended up putting a rubber mat that's like what I saw on Reddit to help with the static, because that's really kind of what has been putting me off. I just feel like most of my time spent at my desk is editing or something that I require headphones for, and I don't like the idea of shocking the inside of my brain potentially. So we're gonna test out this mat underneath the walking pad thing, because apparently that can help with all the static and the electricity that builds up or whatever science, I don't know. So let's give her a little test run and we will update and see if anything changes on this final day. Okay, I'm happy to report that I've been walking now for like, I think like 20-30 minutes, and I haven't heard a single bit of static in my headphones. So I think that is the solution, is to just put a rubber mat underneath the walking pad if you're struggling with static. And that's like honestly the best case scenario option for me. Luckily I had this one from an old treadmill that we had a while ago, so we kept it and we just used it as an exercise mat, so it's been working great. Honestly, I'm so happy about that. Probably the solution, although it is just like one more step to add to the process when I'm already lazy, you know. I wish this could just be set up in here all the time, but believe it or not, this is actually like a sort of small dining room that I transformed into an office, and it is a very, very tiny room. Like a queen size mattress barely fits in this room, just like on its own. Cameras are deceiving. I think it's just a little bit of a smaller area than it looks like. And so anyway, I don't have the option to have this set up all the time, but this is very convenient for when I do use it, so that's good. But something I've noticed is that like the actual like walking part, the little strip, the center part of the treadmill is kind of like off center now, which is very weird, and I feel like it's like causing more friction, and I don't really know how to fix that. So let me show you. I don't know if you're able to tell, but on this side there's like a little bit more of a gap than there is on this side, and I don't know if it's just from the way I walk or what the cause of it is, but it's kind of concerning. I'm like, is this safe to keep walking on? I think it should be fine. I tried to turn it off and like push it over, and that just didn't work, so I might try to Google it and see what else I can do. But just wanted to, you know, note that I've only used this like 10 or less times, and that's already happened. I spoke too soon. It has been about 55 minutes now, and I'm getting the clicking and I'm touching my keyboard and shocking myself. I just like, how do people do it? Please Give me your suggestions and your comments down below because I'm at a loss here. I have tried like every method. I've tried changing my shoes. I've tried going without shoes. That hurt my feet. I've tried doing the mat. I've tried doing Bluetooth, but I need to be able to use corded headphones for when I edit because any Bluetooth headphones I use, there's like a lag and it's just not an accurate edit. So anyway, we're gonna end it off in a few minutes here at 1 hour. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling glad that I got, you know, a bunch of work and emails done while I was walking. That's kind of the point of all this, or at least why I want to do it. I don't know if I'm 100% sold, but I still like it.
So, honestly, my goal for this video was to use this combination every day for like a week or, you know, periodically throughout a month. And honestly, I really struggled with staying consistent with it. There were a couple times where I'd be editing and I noticed that like some time was going by and I had gotten, you know, more steps in than I thought, or it had been 20 minutes or whatever, but I don't really feel like I increased my productivity that much or my focus that much. But that could just be a me thing because like I said, I wasn't like super inspired to just consistently use it all the time. So do with that info what you will. So now I thought I would go over some pros and cons. I feel like that's the best way for me to give you like a big picture of after I've been using it for a couple of months now, semi-consistently you could say, I guess periodically. So here are my pros and cons of pretty much just the walking pad because the standing desk is cool. Like it doesn't really change much from day to day. So the standing desk is good because I use it as a sitting desk as well, but this is just gonna be like for the walking pad mostly. So starting off, the first pro is that it's really nice to have like a treadmill that you can actually store away. You can put it in a closet, you can roll it under your couch like I did. It's pretty compact considering, so I mean, that's very convenient to have. It's relatively quiet, which is a good thing. It's especially quiet when you compare it to like a full-size treadmill like you would use at the gym or like an at-home treadmill or whatever. So I will say that that is like a huge pro in my eyes. It's a great way to habit stack while working. I think I mentioned that a lot throughout this video, but it's a way to do 2 habits at one time or multitask or whatever phrase you want to use, but you're intentionally doing a couple of things at the same time. Another benefit to it is if you lived in a climate where it wasn't always great weather to walk outside, so whether you lived somewhere with hot summers, cold winters, or even just like depending on the time of year it is when you're using it, I love that you can just get your walk in inside. It's so nice to be able to do that and not have to go outside and like enter the world sometimes, you know? I like that you can modify the speed depending on what you're doing when you're using it. So like if you're just like watching a YouTube video, you can obviously walk a little bit faster. If you're doing more kind of intensive work, you can slow the pace down a little bit. And I love the remote. The remote is like such a pro for me. It's just so convenient and easy. I also love the idea that you could use the walking pad separate from the desk. So you could put it like in your living room in front of the TV. I've seen people doing that, and you can pull up like these scenic landscapes on YouTube, or you can watch a show. Unfortunately, the apartment that I live in is just too old and like the outlet situation just isn't conducive for that, but like maybe in the future that would be a really fun thing to do, honestly. And the last pro to me is that it's much more affordable than like a full-size kind of gym style treadmill. Some of those treadmills can run up to like $2,000, which is absolutely crazy. So the fact that this is quite literally a fraction of that is great. You know, it's good that it's a little bit more accessible. Amazon always pretty much has like 2-day delivery depending on where you live, so it's just nice that it's a little bit more widely available and a lot more affordable. Okay, now we're gonna get into the cons, and I just have to get this off of my chest. I hate the cords. I hate the cord situation. It is such an eyesore for me. It drives me insane. I feel like we've made so much progress in the like cord hiding department when it comes to like TVs or media consoles or whatever, but when it comes to desks, it is just so ugly and I hate it so much, in case that wasn't clear.
Boring, yawning, sloppy, lazy.
Another one is that I kind of found myself occasionally losing balance. It wasn't like a big deal, like I was never felt unsafe or I never fell or anything like that, but there were a couple times where I was like distracted and doing other things, or like I would reach for something and I would be like, whoa. And so that's just something to note, I guess, as a con. Also, to kind of bracket off of that, as you saw in the very last clip, there was some weird off-kilter thing that happened, and the actual like tread part sort of is off-center now, so that's annoying. And as I said, you know, I've only used it a few times, so that's something interesting to note too. This next con is kind of more specific to me and my line of work, but I do a lot of video editing and especially like photo editing when it comes to making thumbnails. And so a lot of times when I'm walking, it's really hard to do that. I actually have to wait or like pause it and stop. I guess it just kind of feels like you have a little more limited function, but depending on what your job is, you may not run into that issue. Okay, this is just me being picky because I'm honestly trying to think of every single con that I could possibly imagine because I just want to make sure that I'm being thorough in case there's like anything that I missed, in case you want to spend your hard-earned money on this. So if I can be picky, I will say that sometimes it's kind of a pain to like drag it out from under the couch, bring it in here, plug it in, turn it on. It really isn't that big of a deal, but sometimes it like deters me from wanting to use it because I'm just too lazy. I kind of just kept forgetting that it existed because it was put away underneath my couch. I have that object permanence ADHD thing where it's like, if it's not in front of me, I kind of forget it exists. And so I just wasn't, like I said at the beginning of the video, feeling like super inspired to use it all the time. Just being honest about that part. The initial beep when you first turn it on is actually very loud. Like it's like, oh my God, oh my God. But it literally lasts 3 seconds. Like it's not a big deal, but it is just like loud when you first initially turn it on, but it's fine. You know I had to mention the static thing because it's something that I struggled with throughout my entire time using it and probably will still continue to struggle with. I will say the rubber mat was probably the best solution that I had come up with, but by the end of it, I was still getting the static electricity thing. I was like building it up. That is something that I had to mention as a huge con for me, and it's kind of like off-putting on days when I'm working. And so it's like, well then what's the point of using it while I'm working and having it at my standing desk if I can't even really use it for a long period of time, you know? And then last but not least, this is personal to me, but I found that when I walk on treadmills specifically, I get a lot of hip flexor pain. Like I just noticed that my hip flexors are like a little bit sore the next day or the day of or whatever. So that's not really a con to this specific thing, but also if you've never walked on a walking pad or a treadmill and you do struggle with hip flexor pain, maybe either like scale it back a little bit or just like look into another option because for whatever reason, it's only walking on a treadmill that hurts my hips. Weirdly. So overall, I am happy that I tried this. I really am. I will definitely keep it and try to keep finding ways to use it in the future. Maybe I'll do like a 6-month update after more time has passed and I've had a little bit more time to get used to it and get the hang of it. I mean, I have had this for almost 3 months now, but maybe we'll give it another few and see if I end up picking up the habit and being more consistent with it. Give me any ideas or tips for the walking pad standing desk combo in the comments below. If you have any questions that I didn't get to, definitely also let me know down below. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can also turn on my post notifications if you want to be notified every time I post a new video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you all of my love and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye.